Hi everybody, welcome to part 1 of making an ocean aquarium bead. I have this video split into 5 different sections since it was so long, so that hopefully later if you are looking to revisit a specific technique or section, it'll be a lot easier for you to locate it in the series of videos versus having one ginormously long video. So I hope this will help for you. And on to part 1, which is pretty much a simple starting video because it's only doing the base or the background decoration. And basically it's whatever you want to put in the background. But first I wanted to actually show you some other elements I will be putting in this ocean bead. And I have some cut pieces of the barnacle cane that I made in the prep work videos. I also have some copper mesh that I cut into strips and then folded around and kinked it so that it could represent like the spiky coral, and it comes out looking red in the finished bead. I also have some marini pieces, which I didn't have in the prep work videos, but I am going to do some marini cane videos really soon. And there's a starfish marini, and the previous one was a dolphin marini. And then I have some other random like flower canes and such. You could basically add whatever you want to these beads. But for my ocean bead, and this is all to your preference, I am laying down some light sky blue. So you preheat your mandrel and lay down just short of the length you want your finished bead. I am making a fairly large bead in this video just so I have enough space to add all the elements so I could show you all the different elements that can be added, even though there's probably an endless amount of items you can add to these beads. But I'm just making this bead. You can make smaller beads. They don't have to be this big. I think mine turned out to be about 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/3 tall. So it's a fairly large bead. And so I just laid down some of this sky blue, and I am just going to be striping on some other various color blues. So I'm just making a varied blue background. Another neat thing you can add to these, which I didn't do in this video, I probably should have, is you can actually lay down dichro. So you can have some real bling in the background of your ocean bead. But I didn't do that in this one. But that's a good option to have. And so after I get my base bead done, I'm just going to add some stripings of stringers and rods of various color blues. So the first one I have, if I could find it, the first one I have is, it's just a white stringer with transparent aqua over it. So I'm going to give it a little more of an aqua look. And I'm just wiggling these around. So it's not a straight line, it's wiggled. And then I have some periwinkle blue, and I'm going to kind of trail this on. It's not full trailing, it's kind of thick trailing. But I'm just spinning this around the bead. And as you notice, the bottom of my bead there, which is close to my hand, the closer section to my hand, my holding hand, is skinnier than the top of the bead. And that's on purpose because most of the elements that I'm going to be adding to this bead will be at the bottom, like the anemone and the seaweed. They're all gonna at least end up at the bottom. And so I purposefully have the bottom of my bead skinnier than the top. And so this last element, this is a stringer that I made with blue adventurine mixed with medium blue transparent glass. to add a little bit of bling to the background. Not as blingy as dichro would be, but just a little bit of sparkle there in the background of this bead. And so I'm going to melt all these in. And then I'm going to take a clear rod and I'm going to put a bunch of twists in this bead. So there's going to be little swirls. It'll be like little ocean swirls just in varied random places, and I'm going to swirl one way and then swirl the other way. It doesn't matter which way you want to do it or in what placement you want to have with it. But I'm just going to spot heat different sections, place the clear stringer in there, and then twist. This one went in the opposite direction. And then I'm blowing on it. That's what I'm doing. I'm bringing it up to my mouth to blow on it, just in case you're wondering what I'm doing there. And I have to bang off. My rod kept cracking, so I'm getting a new rod, and I have the same problem with the new rod. It keeps cracking too, so I have to keep banging off the excess glass because it kept wanting to crack on me. I think it was too cold in my studio, actually, so you could see the rod's all cracked already. So I have to keep banging those pieces off, as you see. But I'm just adding these twists around. Until you're happy with it. So it's whatever really you want to put in the background. I could have put, you know that it's like the double helix. It's like two stripes that twist around each other. I could have put that in the background. Those look really cool in the background sometimes. Just making it wiggle up and down around the bead. That looks really cool sometimes. But it's whatever you want to place as your background decoration. And a lot of this will be covered up with the elements you're going to place in it later. So you need to look at that too, of how much of the background will be seen. And so now I have it super sped up because after I got my twists in, my bead got all wonky and off center. And so now I'm trying to fix it back to center. But I'm still going to have that skinnier bottom, and I'm redefining that. You could see it's even skinnier than it was just a second ago. I want to keep a skinny bottom, because I know my anemone alone is going to take up a lot of space at the bottom there. So I don't want to have, starting out with too much bottom glass, because it will get a lot fatter, as you will see in the next videos. So I'm going to even that out. And there's my little twisted background of blues. And the last element I'm going to add for the background here is the piece of copper that I scrunched up to make it represent like that spiky coral, that spiky red or red-brown coral that you could cut your feet on. And you just want to massively heat your bead to white hot, and then you just place the copper on top and smoosh it down. And as you could see, it looks black, and that's normal. It's supposed to look black, but it looks black now, and now you have to encase it. So you don't want to put this back in the flame. You don't want to put the copper back in the flame. I'm just heating the skinny bottom of the bead there. But you want to encase this totally in clear and not have any copper exposed. And it'll still look black, or at least it did on mine. Sometimes it'll look red, but with this one, it actually still looked black. But after it was annealed in the kiln, it actually turned red. And you could see those in the pictures at the beginning and end. You could see the copper looks reddish in there. And so it adds a little neat effect. You could also put silver mesh in your bead. It doesn't have to be copper. But silver doesn't look like the coral as much, in my opinion. But it could be a decoration also in the background. And so it's hard to see the copper in there, but it's totally encased. And that's it for the background for this video. I hope to see you in part 2. Thanks for watching.